Kevin.
What's up? Hold on, is this blaring? Shoot. There you go. A little better.
Yeah, a little better. That's all right. We like the glow.
Yeah. I like to keep the glow.
Yeah,
What's up, dude?
not much, not much. Okay, we're live, just so you know. We're already
Yeah,
live.
yeah.
But that's all right. We keep it casual around here, you know?
Yeah, I love live.
Uh, so hold on a second. Let me just monitor the chat here real quick in case people are okay. We're live. Just
Yeah, man. So yeah, I didn't get to fill out your the document
really
thing.
good, man.
Yeah. So like whatever topics you want to talk about, all good. I'm open to talk about a lot of different things. And there's a couple of things I will mention that I really want to talk about, which is a virtual food festival that's coming up this week. So that's super cool. But other than that, it's all yours, brother. Like, what do you want? What would you like to discuss today?
Yeah, the sky's the limit, right?
Yeah,
Except the
yeah,
food festival.
yeah.
Okay.
We will talk
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. No, I think my audience don't know who you are, so I want to like get a little bit into the kind of your background a little bit more and how you kind of got to where you are now. So one thing is just kind of like a little bit of your upbringing background, like where you're from, and like kind of more basic stuff. But then I also want to know a little bit more about your involvement, how you got into the Asian Hustle Network, and how what your journey was like through there. And then I do want to bump your network Kevin thing a little bit, and then we can talk about food, man.
Yeah, man. Okay, for sure. Okay, so a really easy, quick background about me is, I'm from an immigrant family. My parents immigrated here, but actually, I'm a son of a single mom. So it's just my mom that raised me and my sister. Los Angeles, born and raised, and currently I'm in Diamond Bar, which is a little bit further away, Diamond Bar, California. But LA is where it all started for us, and then from there, I guess like that really defines like who I am, is the fact that seeing I was just raised by my mother, no father, and just growing up in that type of environment. And not like I didn't come from like a rich background. We didn't have much money growing up. It was really just the hustle and grind and struggle. And so we were just figuring out how to survive wherever we went. My mother, she's like my superhero, like she figured it out. She's like a beast at everything she does. And I just remember those moments, just like growing up, and just my mom not telling me much, but I knew that we were struggling, because that when you don't have the same things the other kids have, or you're not in the same neighborhoods as the other kids and things like that. Or because I was always one of those kids that would use somebody else's address to go to the better school.
Yeah,
I remember doing that a lot. And I always thought that was weird, but I didn't question it. But now when I'm older, I understand why.
yeah.
Your parent.
You got your instincts. Sorry to cut you off a little bit. We all have our instincts. So you were immigrant. So you immigrated here. You weren't born in the U.S., right?
Oh no, I was born here. My
You were born.
parents immigrated here. Sorry if that was, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I
Okay.
was born here in Los Angeles. But luckily, because my mom doesn't speak any like she doesn't speak any English. So because of that, like I'm still fluent in Korean. So I'm actually pride myself that I could speak two languages. Like not everybody that I guess that was born and raised here could say that, but I'm proud to say it because my mom still doesn't really speak English, so which is totally fine. And
Okay.
then yeah, so that kind of led to, I thought making it was to go corporate. That's what I thought, because I was taught that stability was like is success. That's what I was taught. So I remember I was actually a really bad kid growing up, but we could talk about that another time. But besides all that, once I started to not being such a crazy person, I think a lot of that drive came from like, hey, I want to make it to corporate. I want to be in corporate and like and go up this ladder, right? I mean, that's what I thought was making it. So I started to like right out of college. Um, Actually, if you knew my past, getting into college is just a miracle in itself. But I got into college after college. Almost failed college, but after college, basically I got into a Fortune 500 company. I started just doing like operation management, which is not what I studied for, and not really what what I thought I would be doing, but I just that's what I fell into. But I was an intern though. I did I would sweep the floor, stock the shelves, do all that. So it's kind of like retail operation management. Just think of it that way. And as I was growing in that company, like I think I had this like fire in my butt, like I was like just trying to like climb this ladder. So I think every year and a half, I had a new position. I was just like constantly climbing the ranks, and I thought I was like doing so well and whatever. And then I hit the bamboo ceiling. If people don't know what that is, it's it's kind of like the glass ceiling for Asians. And so I hit it, and I realized I wasn't going to move further than the regional positions that they were giving me. They weren't going to give me like the big jobs, like the VP jobs and the decision making executive type jobs. I realized this, and the reason I realized it is because I looked around, and everyone around me, they started to have less hair, blue eyes, and they're mostly Caucasian. And I mean that in a totally non-racist way. Like I really don't see color. Like that's just who I am. And I'm a big advocate of underrepresented communities, AAPI, BLM movement, all of it. I really am. But at the same time, that doesn't mean like I'm particularly racist against white people. I didn't feel oppressed or anything. But what I did realize was I just didn't fit that mold though. It wasn't right of that company to behave in that manner, but I saw it. It was very clear as day. So that moved me to another company, but in the midst of that, that got me exploring entrepreneurship. And so with entrepreneurship, I started dabbling with e-commerce. I started my first one. A lot of people don't know this is I started with Coach bags. I used to sell Coach bags, and it was super random. Like I just went to an outlet mall and bought a bunch of Coach bags, and I was like, I'm gonna sell this online now. Like this is what I'm gonna do. Like it was weird. Like I just well, a mentor of mine helped me get there, and that was fun. Um, did that for about 4 years or so, and all on the side. And then after my second company that I found, they put me in a pretty bigger role, like a bigger regional role. It was nice, and they were a lot more open-minded about diversity, and they were, and they had all the right things actually. But I think somewhere along when I was there, they had like the perfect package for me, right? It was like the dream job, corporate, stable, had a company car, they pay for my flights. I was going to Hawaii 4 times a year. I did a lot of traveling. I played golf at like Pebble Beach. You know what I mean? Like I would wine and dine clients, and it was like this. Other people would think like, "This is it, Kevin. Like you've done it. You've made it." Like I was miserable, and I don't even know why. Like it's well, the industry wasn't like my thing. It was in the construction industry, and it wasn't just about the widget, like the thing that you sell. It's not about the thing that you sell. It just I don't know what it was. It wasn't. I thought it was like, oh, it's freedom. No, that's not what it is. Um, it's about growth, a little bit of that. But it truly, I started realizing that I wanted to be able to not be just stuck in like one thing, and have that freedom to continue to grow and explore in all different things. So I didn't want to be identified as the guy that sold construction stuff. Like I didn't want that to be my identity. Like I wanted to build my own brand, and then it evolved a lot more recently too, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But that's the original reason why I decided I think it's time for me to take a leap. And it wasn't easy doing that, but I gave away this this cush job, and I took the leap of faith, and I took a 40% cut to do it, and I just joined a startup company.
Let's
And
unpack a few
yeah,
things, okay? Let's unpack a few things there because there's so much in there. And first, the first thing I want to say is that you and I have, I never heard that story before. In case you guys are watching out there, I've never heard that story before. Kevin's a busy guy. I'm a busy guy, but not as busy as Kevin. But I had never heard that story. This is one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on, and just kind of hear a little bit more about that, just for my own personal reasons too, because I wanted to connect with you. But a lot of the mentality and the cultural things that you mentioned, like I
mhm,
experienced.
mhm,
I had a corporate job. I was topped out. I hit the bamboo ceiling, and I was miserable. I was miserable too. And I think in my mind, I was miserable because I kind of knew why. I kind of knew
Mm.
that, this isn't like, I'm not going to do this job. I don't see myself doing this job like when I'm like 70 years old. Like, I don't even want to retire, but I want to do something that I love. And I just didn't love it, you know? And then
Yeah,
once we hit that
yeah.
ceiling, I'm like, oh, where do I go now? Like, yeah, I have enough money. I can live. I've got all these benefits. I got, all this stuff. But then what the heck am I doing? And I personally felt like I was going, we had a relaxed schedule and stuff like that. I was managing and things like that. We can come and go, and if stuff is done, I just go home. Work from home. If there's stuff that needs to be done, do some other stuff. But I was like, every time I went into work, I was like, I felt like I was going to jail. Like, like, damn, this is what jail feels like.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
what jail feels like. And so, but problem for me was I didn't know what I wanted to do after that because I had been there so long. I don't know how many years you were at your corporate job. I was there, 15 years plus, something like that.
Oh wow, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I was there about close to 9 years or
9 years.
something like that.
Yeah, so
8 years, 9 years.
yeah, anywhere past 8 years, you're like you're feeling it, right?
Yeah,
And
man.
so
I felt it at year 5. I just stayed.
yeah, well, same thing, same thing. I probably could have left at year 9 or 10 too, but then I just really want to figure out what I want to do the second half of my life. I didn't want to just do it because I want to try something else. I really want to find something else. And so I
Mm.
like took my time, I bought my time, and in the meantime, since benefits and pay was good, I just explore things like you. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I just want to know like more things. So I took on like hobby jobs. I started a hobby, e-commerce, selling aquarium, live corals and stuff like that. I think one of the guys gave in.
Yeah.
I hooked up with him because I saw his post and I was like, hey, we should talk. We probably knew some of the same people, so that was doing that stuff on the side, was making, shoot, I can probably pound out like 10 grand a month just selling that on the side,
Yeah.
you know? And so that was good, but I also didn't want to do that forever, like that hustling the e-commerce stuff.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so we felt the same way because the same thing regarding the seeing people around the corporate offices and stuff like that. It's not racist, like you said, it's just different. Like, we think differently, we have a different background, and so the way they run the company, the other people also think differently, and it didn't have as broad of a view like some of us. Like, hey, I want like I want to I want a well-rounded life. I want this and I
Yeah.
want that and the other. I think that's what you were mentioning. So I appreciate like all the things that you said regarding that. But let's go into like how. So you wanted to try doing a business of your own. How did you think of doing like e-commerce and shipping? Like,
So that happened because e-commerce started because my first thought was here's the thing: when you're in corporate that long, you're risk averse. Like, you don't like risk. So I didn't want to go spend $50,000 on an investment that I wasn't sure that it would just become zero, right? So I wanted a risk. I wanted some risk, but not too much risk. So I chose a low overhead industry, which is internet businesses, which is e-commerce. So I chose that originally, and then I tried affiliate marketing. I tried drop shipping. I tried all of it actually. I was dabbling around in all of that space, and I was also because there's one talent that I realized that I had at a very young age that I've just been really focusing and honing in on, and that is literally just networking and connecting with people. And I loved community building. So I knew this really early. And so when you're aware of some of your skill sets or your superpower really early, you're going to kind of revolve around that. E-commerce, even though it's like a solo business, you're at home, you're in front of a computer for 8 hours, 3 hours, whatever, in the middle of the night. Um, that wasn't my favorite part of the business. I leveraged e-commerce to have more conversations with more people. So I talked to people in the retail industry. I met people in the retail industry. I wanted to learn about their marketing tactics. I wanted to learn about their systems and operations and people. And just I'm a fanatic of storytelling and story learning. And so I started connecting with them. And because of those connections, that's where this international shipping company and don't get me wrong, this startup, it's a formidable startup. They started in 2014. It's Unexpress is the parent company. The startup started in 2014 in Shenzhen, China, and as of 2019 hit $1 billion. Do that in 5 years is crazy, any startup. But they did it. They're like a unicorn. So they did it, and they wanted to expand in the US and wanted to create a just US only startup in the same business model. And they found me just through LinkedIn, through my various contacts, and said, hey, you're not in the industry of shipping. However, you have all these retail contacts. Who are you? And so I said, sure. And then we like, let's have a conversation. So we talked. I thought they were a fake company, honestly, because I was like, I've never heard of you. It's all in Mandarin. Like, I don't know. I don't speak. I'm Korean. So like, I was like, I had no idea how to research this. So I had a friend of mine actually look him up, and they looked him up on these Mandarin like tech sites and whatever and found them. And I was like, okay, cool. They're a real company. So that's good. Cause like my first meeting was like in an empty warehouse. So I thought like they're going to cut out my liver or something. Like, like it was a little scary, but I realized, wow, this is real. And they just had these value propositions that I believed in. And I was just like, wow, like maybe I can do this. And so that was probably a very recent difficult decision, because now I'm leaving my 401k. I'm leaving my, actually we have like a small 401 kind of thing, but we're leaving like the safety net. There's no like guaranteed future here, and I'm gonna go build my team from scratch. And my entire market was the Americas. So that's like, okay, so who's on my team? Originally it was just me and one other dude.
So now when you did this, did you have did you have some savings, and stuff like that? No.
No, man. Well, I mean, I had some for different reasons, but don't get me wrong, I always have savings. If anyone's listening that's younger, always have 3 months of expenses in your savings. Okay, so that's like a thing that I was taught very young. So I always did that. However, that's just regular rainy day money. That's not like, oh, like I have all this extra cash. This was like, I need to take this leap of faith or I'm gonna die. Like, I don't know what it was. Like, I just felt like I had to do it because it was gonna expand me to grow. And that's exactly what it did. So this is what happened. And this is the craziest part of the story. The craziest part of the story is I tell this story and people think I did this years ago. But what I tell them is, you've met me now, and all the different things that I've accomplished in this time. I tell people I made that leap in September of 2019. That wasn't that long ago.
No, that's
And
like,
I tell people this. It hasn't even been a year. The reason why I tell people this is because if anyone's on the fence, you could do it too. And you should. I think you should. Go live your life, the best life you want to live. It's super short. So anyways, so I took the leap and I just did it. There was no turning back, and I took a 40% cut in all my money. I had to rebudget your life. You'll be surprised how much you can rebudget. You can give up the fancier food. You can give up the fancier car. You can give up a lot of things to really focus on what's important. Really, like, just stop. Like, I just needed to tell myself, stop being greedy, And so that led me to today. So today, from there to today, so much has changed. So much has changed. I mean, I can't even tell you. Like, one, I never used social media in my life, right? Never. I now like created like a personal brand. It's Network with Kevin. Look me up.
we
uh,
you guys all watching, we got a link down in the post if you take a look at it.
yeah.
And there's a hub link there, and it's every Tuesday, which is tomorrow, 4 o'clock. So you guys should all just click on it.
Oh yeah, awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, so that happened, and I started like dabbling around with it a little bit in like October or December of last year, kind of just like I created an Instagram. Like, I was using Instagram and Facebook for a photo album for my family. That's pretty much all I use it for. And now I decided, hey, maybe I'll use this to like meet more people and network on the virtual space, not just in person, because I was still doing a lot of face-to-face meetings and building my community in person. I was already pivoting in that way. And then that's when I found the group AHN, and I didn't find them. One of my mentors was invited and he liked it. And he was like, hey, Kevin. And around at that time, it was like 7,000 members or so. And they said, hey, why don't you want to take a look at this group page? And I was like, A Facebook group that I'm never gonna check, sure. I'll just join. Not a big deal. I join, I see all these cool posts about these Asian American hustlers, just and not even just Asian American, there's some just Asians in general, just hustling in there. And they had all these incredible stories. And so you know what? I was like, I'm gonna tell everyone my story. And my first story was me jumping out of corporate. That was it. That was my story. Because I didn't really build a lot of things. I had a lot of little side projects going on, but I still wanted to share that story. And from that story, I connect to a bunch of different people. And then there's one historical event that happened. One historical event. One, I had to put myself out there, and I was definitely like networking a lot because like that's what I like to do. So I encourage anyone that joins the community, uh, focus on value. So whatever value you can bring and be active in it. So even liking a post, commenting a post, giving feedback, giving information, that's value added. That shows engagement. So if you want something out of the community, you have to give first, man. That's just like you just have to. So, anyways, besides all that, I was already giving and doing whatever just because I wanted to connect with people. One historical moment, Calvin Hang, Golden Marrow CEO. You should take a look at his food. It's amazing. Puts out there like, hey, a bunch of LA guys wanted to meet up. It got kind of out of control. Now there's about 100 people that want to see each other. I don't have a venue and I need some help. That's what he says. Oh, he said 50 people. And he said, I need some help. I saw that post and, I've been doing nonprofits and big group gatherings for a long time. So I was like, I could help him. So I DM him, I was like, hey, I'll help you out, dude. I was like, what's your budget? He's like, $0. I'm like, okay, I can do that. I've done that before, for nonprofits and things like that. So I was like, let's see who's willing to help. And so that's how it happened. And we threw an event with 400 plus people in Southern California. I had an amazing team of 30 volunteers, and it was crazy. We didn't spend a dime on that project, and we pulled it off. 400 people showed up. We had all these different events, and ever since then, it hyper activated all my community work after that. And so I kept networking since then. And my entire mindset was already changing, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then chapter 3.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely need to resume our conversation a little more, a little bit later. But I want to talk a little bit about that event, okay? Because people would talk about it before. I entered, the group much later, and I didn't do any formal introduction. I kind of had my own thing going on already, and I was kind of growing my thing. But I did see the posts and stuff like that. I think I joined when it was like 35,000. I think it's like 50 plus now. And I just, I still don't get it. Maybe you can chime in on this. Is that I still don't get it. Like, yes, I get it. A lot of people are posting their, what they do. They're like very, very formal. I want to say formal but informal introductions, and like you really connect to it. I mean, people are like spending time like writing these really, really long, life stories and their business journeys or whatever. This is so different than any other group who is just like, hi, how are you? Right? And so, and then when you do reply to one of their posts, they're like on it right away. Like reply back to you, hey, you want to connect? Hey, what do you do? And like, it's like instant, like, friendship, instant network. And if there's any commonalities between people, like they find it, they find it. And you're like, hey, you got black hair? You got slanted eyes? You're my guy.
Yeah.
So that's what I noticed about that. A lot. It's really, really easy to get to know people and connect with people. I don't do it as much just because I'm so stacked on my stuff right now. But as much as I can, if I have time, I go run over there. And then lately, your event. Let's plug that one more time. I'm trying to make it there every Tuesday at 4. But dang, man, I got this interview that I've been doing 42 days straight, Monday through Fridays. And so I'm keeping the momentum going, and it's been good. So I've been wanting to have you on since like episode 5.
I'm sorry, brother. Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah.
Something up about that. But so let's talk a little bit more about your networking. Networking with Kevin a little more. Give people like a sense of it, and I put
Yeah,
a link up here for people to join tomorrow. But I want you to give a little introduction to them so that they know what.
sure, sure. So network with Kevin, it's really a place where I'm trying to create like a genuine referral network, like a genuine networking group. So what networking to me means is that it's people that have business value to each other, that could learn from one another, not to sell to each other, not to solicit, but obviously you're going to talk about your business and what you're an expert and what you do. And so by showcasing that, that's where we could refer one another and to think about one another when we go into our workplaces, our loved ones, or different areas in our lives. We carry that with us. And so I wanted to create a much safer space of sharing besides your basic, like, hey, this is what I do, let me flaunt my stuff, because that's, you're not going to get much out of it if that's what you're going to do. I break it down to three things. One, it's basic intro of who you are and some updates on your life, and then I add some fun stuff in there, right? And then two, I ask every person to teach something, whether that's in something you're an expert in or something you just learned that week. You don't have to like dig deep and give a TED talk. Like that's not what I'm asking for. I'm just saying, hey man, maybe you woke up one day and took some time for yourself and you found that to be super powerful. Okay, talk about that. Teach that. Teach, that meditation or whatever you discovered that week about that thing. And that's it. Super simple. And the last thing is asking for help. Because a lot of people, especially my culture too, but just in general, we have like, we have our big boy pants on and we don't ask for help. We don't know how to ask for help. And knowing how to ask for help the right way, that is powerful because you are going to be vulnerable, you are going to be direct, and you're going to be specific. You're not going to say, oh yeah, just go check out my business or whatever. Who's going to do that? No one's going to do that,
Yeah,
you
because
know?
they have no context. They don't like so many people I meet. Like, I wish we could teach a little bit more about that. Is that they don't like introduce themselves. Like, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I'm passionate about. Like, let me, show me who you are. Because if you don't, then automatically we think like, what are you hiding? Who are you? Like, I don't know what you're gonna do. Like,
Mhm.
that we have to create a lot of safety. And I had William Chim on the interview the other day, and what I love about him is that I remember specifically when I was on your network with Kevin is that he said, hey, oh Leo, you do real estate. I think I got a friend that would love to talk to you. I think I got such and such person that would do this. Like, I mean, aside from you, like, I don't know any other like super connectors like that. He's thinking about you first, right? He's thinking,
Yeah,
like, hey, I'm getting information from you, and I've got some resources, and like, hey, let's see if I can help you.
yeah,
Like he
yeah,
automatically just does that, and as
yeah,
opposed to something like, hey, I do this, you want to buy? Hey, you want to buy?
right, yeah,
Which is unfortunately a lot of it, and I hope with all the stuff we're doing, that whole culture of
yeah,
like, that kind of like, I
yeah.
don't
The value forward mindset, brother. That's I talk about that every day because I always say my goal every single day, not even a goal in life, but just every day, right? If I could be the most valuable person in the room, I just feel awesome. Like I don't care about being the smartest person, like because I'm not. But I would like to be the most valuable person to somebody. I would like to bring something and add something to their day. Like that would be super cool. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you, and I want to be respectful of your time. So I want to like go into your little food. Maybe it's not little.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So a quick little thing. Speaking of value, we wanted to figure out a project that could help small businesses, and a bunch of us got together and created Food Fest Live. It's a virtual food festival. Come check it out. Go to www.foodfestlive.com. It's very zip code centric, so that means specific to the event, we work with that specific restaurant and we cater to the 5 mile radius. And what it is the show is kind of like a Zoom call like this with about 40, anywhere from 20 to 40 different members in there. And you all get to literally see him talk about the food, some clips of cooking the food, and then we're having a Q&A / interview with the founder of this location. And then while you're getting that hungry, you get to eat it. It's a whole immersive experience. So it's kind of like going to the Food Network and actually eating along with the chef. So that's the goal of the show. And we wanted to focus on the small business. So it's not just about your celebrity chefs or whatnot, which can be coming down in the pipeline, but we still, especially in this time, really want to highlight getting more tickets to the small businesses. So this is just another revenue possibility for these restaurants. Yeah.
So when you say zip code specific, so how will that work? Like you have one event?
So for example, this Tuesday at 2 p.m. is our first VIP room event. So it's Mr. Obanyaki. It's a dessert event. So it's going to be after lunch hour. So it starts at 2 p.m. If you buy the tickets beforehand, what you can do is basically, you have to be within a 5-mile radius of his restaurant location, which is in Monterey Park. So anyone in Monterey Park in that 5-mile radius or a little bit further than that will be serviced. So all the tickets, we have drivers that we set up that's going to take all of the desserts at the same time, drop it off all the locations while the show is going. And so as we go, they get to eat the food.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. I had the owner of OC Wine Mart on, I think it was a week ago. And she had a similar event with wine tasting. So I think with what you're talking about here would fit perfectly for her. And it doesn't have to be, so this is the kicker, doesn't have to be zip code specific, because she can just ship it all out ahead of time.
Cool. That's that's a really interesting event too. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, let me know what you think about that. Maybe we can,
Yeah, I would like to do more of like, if that was the case, I would ask her to do like a parent, like a show, like a whole little sommelier show thing. However, I would like to do it with local wineries because I would want to support, because we're all about supporting local. So,
her suppliers are probably local, and she could probably recommend somebody to do that because she's already doing that, and she's just doing it on her own on a local basis. So she can kind of get a broader audience. I think she'd be interested.
Cool. Yeah. So basically, I could see us tag teaming where it's like it would be her event with like partnership with FoodFest, and FoodFest would do like the marketing arm for them, get more people involved. Yeah, that'd be super cool. Yeah. If you're listening out there, love to connect. We'll figure something out.
So many small businesses and restaurants out there that could benefit, that could fit this mold. And we'd love to see if we can do something because that's
that'd be that. I mean, our goal is not just to sell more tickets to these restaurants, that every time we do it with these restaurants, especially the ones that aren't market or social or digital savvy, hopefully they can learn something from us as well, because we teach the SOPs, which is standard operating procedures, to what we do to these restaurants. So even after they do an event with us, they can go do it on their own. That's the point.
I mean, the hope is that, we can do one event for a restaurant that they'd be, that give them a boost, after all this pandemic stuff and like that they can continue to do their business and do it well. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah. So if you do me a favor, go on this live and just put in the link for the festival. If people,
yeah. Okay.
Still links, or you can paste it here in the chat and I'll grab it.
Here, I'm just gonna write FoodFest Live. Where is it? Right here. I'll just put it right in the comments. www.foodfest live. And then you could definitely follow us on IG, FoodFest Live. It's literally just FoodFest Live. Yeah, so we could that'll be fun.
Are you do you have a cap on a limit of how many people?
So every VIP room, there's a cap. Every VIP room, I think the cap we want is at 40. So there's a good engagement, because it's not that fun if you can't talk to the restaurant chef. You know what I mean? So definitely the engagement piece, we want to cap every event at 40. This particular event is capped at 20 due to capacity issues of the actual like making of the food, which is totally fine. So because we want to respect the restaurants that we do these events with. And then at the same time, we will have a recap episode of all the restaurants, probably always like the week after the VIP event. So you're going to see like me interviewing these restaurant owners live, but we'll have some B-rolls of the event so people could see what transpired, and we'll have it live for everyone to watch.
Awesome. That's speaking of value, that's a lot of value, like the B-rolls, the after.
Yeah, we hope, man. Yeah, it's a lot. and my team is phenomenal. Shout outs to like Alan and Jonah and all these guys, and Calvin and Mike Lee. All these guys are doing pro bono work, like all of them. Yeah, yeah, like every one of my members, like fill up, because we have 3 Calvins on the team. Like, like they're all just doing it pro bono. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Let me know how I can help. I'm down here in Orange County. If you want to do something out here, a restaurant or something like that, aside
Yeah,
from
if you have a restaurant that you're very keen or close with, and we end up like, you know, using that restaurant, or you know, that's one of our picks for like an OC round when we do one. And if you're close with them, it'd be cool. Like we would be like, hey, why don't you moderate the event then? Because you're already used to speaking on these Zooms, you know, so you could definitely moderate some of the events, or you could even just coordinate. Just you know, we always need help and volunteers in general. Just in case, we always have those just in case things. So yeah, I'd absolutely let you know about it once we have a couple of ones in OC.
okay, but definitely I'll connect you on the wine thing. We'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, awesome, man. Sweet.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on such short notice and always giving value, always happy, always always energetic. So I will look forward to seeing more of you. Hope to catch you tomorrow night. I've got a few escrows in the works right now, so it's pretty busy time. So yeah, a big one. Signed a big one on Saturday. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Six-
That's dude.
and,
Congrats.
so, but a little bit busy, but definitely never too busy to try to make sure we have these kind of connection times and stuff like that. So thank you so much. Hey, everybody that are watching, I appreciate you guys being here. I'll be back tomorrow, but you know, say hi to Kevin. You know, if you have any value to give, you're looking for value, hey, speak up about, you know, things that you might need. You know, don't suffer in silence is what, you know, my group of friends always say. Do not suffer in silence. Okay. So I'll leave you guys with that. Have a great Monday. I'll talk to you soon.
Later, guys.